Hey guys, Gun Goober here. Today we're taking a look at this STS lower that I'm using for my HK416A5 clone. This video was a request from a reviewer, so I'd like to thank them for making the suggestion. STS offers 4 varieties of 416 lower based off of variations HK has produced over the last 20 years of the service life of the rifle. All 4 lowers are 100% compatible with mil-spec AR-15 lower components and require no HK specific parts to be functional. However, the 416 lowers have enhanced features that you can only take advantage of by using HK specific parts. So likely you will want to acquire some HK specific parts even if you aren't trying to do a 100% clone of a specific rifle. But if you are having trouble tracking down that specific part, don't worry, you can use a standard AR part until you're able to get the HK one. Or if something breaks, you can easily source a temporary replacement. We will be using my A5 lower as an example, and I'll go over the HK parts you want to get full functionality out of the lower. After that, we'll talk about some HK parts you might want to get for clone purposes or just for fun. Starting with the enhanced functionality parts, specific to the A5 lower is the 2 roll pin trigger guard. The front hole is drilled all the way through, allowing you to use a roll pin in the front instead of a spring detent or screw. As you can see, that hole goes all the way through, and this HK bowed trigger guard allows you to make use of both roll pins. This is a stereotypical HK style change where the previous detent and screw system was perfectly fine, but HK decided that enough was not enough and one roll pin was not annoying enough to assemble already. The A5 lower also introduced an ambidextrous bolt catch and fencing for a lefty magazine release that you can see here. That's the ambi magazine release. And then on the other side, we have your ambi bolt drop and bolt hold open. It uses a standard AR-15 magazine button on this side. To make full use of the additional fencing and milling, you'll want to get an HK bolt release and an HK left side magazine release, seen here. Lastly, the buffer retainer is retained by a roll pin through the side of the lower, instead of being held in place by the lip of the receiver extension. To take advantage of that, you need an HK specific buffer retainer and its roll pin. The HK safety selector has a metal core with 2 polymer ambidextrous switches that are attached via a roll pin. I shaved down the right side selector so it won't interfere with my trigger hand, but it is still functional. You can see the lever is completely made out of RAL 8000 polymer and not just painted. The takedown pins are standard AR-15, however HK does make and sell them. Note, these are not the pins from the MR223, which requires a tool to remove. HK has standard ones, which I prefer, although any AR-15 pins should work. The end plate is also AR-15 compatible, but there is an HK produced version. HK produces various castle nuts. This is a short one, but they also make a longer one, but that requires either an HK receiver extension or one with enough threads to allow for the extra length. The receiver extension I'm using is a Geissele Desert Dirt extension, which is a close match for the HK. However, HK makes a RAL 8000 extension with the extended threading we discussed earlier. The pistol grip is compatible with any AR-15 style grip, however HK makes several in their RAL 8000 color. This is a V2 HK grip with no storage. The grip angle is similar to a BCM grip. The V7 grip is very similar with a plug for storage. They also make an adaptive grip which has swappable panels just like a VP9, in addition to storage. The stock I'm using is an HK Slimline stock, which is correct for the A5. HK offers several other stocks, and any AR-15 stock will fit. The cutie cups are not standard, and they are an add-on from Tier 1 outfitters. So technically, there is one last component which actually may give you issues if you do not use a 416 specific component, and that is the trigger. The MR223 and HK416 bolts have a firing pin safety that is tripped by the hammer. This is to prevent the firing pin's inertia from detonating a cartridge. A lot of AR-15 hammers are not tall enough to disengage this safety. So you might have to use a specific HK trigger, such as the Geissele 416 trigger that I'm using. As you can see, the hammer profile is quite unique for a Geissele. Or you may even want to use the HK416 trigger that HK makes, which has the additional feature of being able to be put on safe even when the hammer is already down. Although, personally, I prefer the Geissele as it is a much nicer feeling trigger. Weirdly, the Brownell's 416 bolts omit the firing pin safety entirely, so those bolts should be compatible with any AR-15 trigger. I currently only have Brownell's bolts, so that's why I don't have any firing pin safeties to show you, but I probably put a picture in. That's it. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thanks for watching.